Welcome to the public board meeting for September 17th, 2024. If you could please stand for the pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call to order at 6:43, sorry. If we could please have roll call.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. Chuck Becker.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Here.
Richard Field.
Here.
Nick Recupido is not on yet.
He's not going to be on for the public meeting.
He's not going to be on. Okay. Absent. I am present. Jeff Bungie.
Present.
David Austin.
Present.
Thank you. Under new business, we have approval of minutes for the August 20th, 2024 meeting. Motion to accept and waive the reading of the minutes.
So moved.
Greg Parker makes the motion, seconded. Chuck Becker makes the second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera. Yes. Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Field.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
6-0.
6-0, sorry. Okay, number two, it says number one on the agenda, but it should be number two. Approve Lisa's Engineering pay request Westside Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project 1, pay request number 10 in the amount of $8,000.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you? This is for some additional work we asked the contractor to do for location marker flags on the sanitary sewers for Project 1 of the Westside Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, specifically in the two areas east of Morse, north of the EQ facilities, and then north of 159th, west of Morse, and east of Klein Avenue for protection. And I cleared that with Tim and Tony to make sure that what we're proposing allows the farmers to work their land, but yet not get in the way of the sanitary sewer manholes that are out there. So there were 32 separate locations that we installed those at, and that's what the proposal of the pay request for LGS that you have in front of you is tonight.
Is there a motion to approve the payment of $800? $8,000.
So moved.
Steele makes the motion, second.
I'll second.
Chuck Becker makes the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we waive roll call vote, please?
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera. Yes. Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Field.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes with 6-0. Number 3, current water capacity needs planning discussion. Do we have any updates?
We submitted a timeline of recommendations for the east side and the west side that I think Nick shared with the group. And short of that, any water production work that's being done between Ortman and Fearless, either currently or the work that was done prior on the west side and the east side additionally for Ortman, I believe it was, and Fearless for production for those facilities along Morse, north of 141st, that the prior town manager was engaged in. I'm unaware of the status of that, but I do know staff is working on additional production facility locations to secure those for test wells moving forward.
Anyone have any additional questions to Neil?
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Number 4, written report, fund report for Treasurer Jen.
The cash and expenditure reports were previously sent out to you all.
Thank you very much. Number 5, consultants and staff reports, engineering. I don't know if you have anything update on the sanitary.
Water, previous sanitary, we have the Project 2 and Project 3 of the Westside Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, those concepts for Projects 3A and 3B specifically, and Project 2, the design is complete on that. Item permits are ready to be filed should you so choose, and working with Dave and his office all easements for Project 2 have been acquired, and that's in the vicinity of essentially 159th and Paris, 159th and Point Avenue, slightly west, north through Creston to 155th, and then left along the north side of 155th to the town-owned 114 acres, I believe it is. That would be Project 2. And then Project 1, we have a punch list for the contractor, and they're working through that, and we've talked to the two farms there. They're going to complete their punch list items after harvest. It just makes the most common sense in the world not to have them out there working while we have active harvest going on.
Now, the funding for these projects, are they secure, or are we still something we
So,
work on?
phase 1 was paid for with the development fee to the wastewater fund, but projects 2 and 3, it was always contemplated that it would have to be a bond issue.
Thank you. Director of Operations?
I got
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the phase 1 of the West Side Interceptor was about 7,000 feet, according to the minutes, and then the phase 2 is going to be 6,500.
I believe that's correct.
And the cost, and Jennifer just answered the question about the cost for phase 2 is going to have to be bonds. And it was also indicated, Dave, you had to do get some legals on phase 2?
No, phase 2, those easements are acquired.
They're all done?
They're
Okay.
all correct and acquired by the town.
Phase
All right.
3 is not, but we don't need to go eminent domain those.
Okay,
We already have rights of way,
all right,
according to Neil.
okay,
Bob?
yeah.
Thank you.
Director of Operations?
We did get, you remember last, meeting, we had the pumps for lift station 13 over there by August Oaks. That has all been replaced and repaired, and new, pipes from the pumps into the check valve pit and, re-going and working as, should, so. That is off of the list for now. That's all I have right now. Unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions? Attorney, Dave Washington?
No reports.
Is there any discussion on the updates of Moore Street water line and extension?
It is slated to be filled Monday, so they're gonna be finishing it up this week, and then, they're gonna fill and pressure test, or begin filling it and testing it on Monday.
And items approved us to put water in the pipes and send it to the building?
No.
Okay, I thought that's what you were
But the
saying.
water main will be completed, so the new extension will be from, from Paradise Cove to the building will be full of water and tested and pressure tested, so we're just the chemical treatment, and we should be close. I know they sent Don actually sent the last of the things that they needed there was a test of some sort, lead, or not lead, I'm drawing a blank.
Picture
There was a iron test that was required, and then some schematics on some chemical dosing percentages that we would propose to use for the chemical pumps, and a couple of drawings of the way the pump house was configured that they needed for that final thing, and that was all set to them. So we believe that that was their review letter of what they wanted, so they got everything they needed. So
Hopefully we get it
we will
approved.
see.
And I apologize for calling it IDEM. I don't like acronyms. That's the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. My apology to the audience.
West Side Sewer Interceptor, we did discuss that.
I do have a question about that, though. Jen, you mentioned something about possibly a bond for that. I know we had discussion in council about bond for equipment like fire engine, which we know that was just over $1 million, in ambulance and street sweeper and/or a payloader. Depending on those, what that comes out to, and I know Bob mentioned also about possible road road projects or stuff like that, what can be lumped into certain bonds, like does equipment, should it be different, like, let's say the fire engine and that stuff came out to like $2.5 million. Other stuff like,
But I
road
believe,
projects and
I
stuff.
believe these are different bonds.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, so is
Yeah,
it,
so since this is specifically a sewer project, you would look at issuing a sewer bond. You've got one sewer bond outstanding, but it'll roll off next year.
okay. So would that be in like good timing though to start that process now? Or, I mean, I know Neil said all this stuff is ready to go as far as engineering. Would we look for timing on if spring is?
So I can't really answer those questions for you because these are a little more sophisticated. You're going to have to get your financial consultant that will be your bond consultants. You also have to get your bond counsel involved, and traditionally in the past it's been Barnes and Thornburg. You're going to have to get your engagement agreements together with all your consultants, and then they will be able to give you a better timeline of execution.
But that's something that we should probably start on sooner than later since it's September.
Whenever you guys give him the go, and then
You're probably looking at 90 to 100 days to get the IDEM permit secured and then begin the process of selecting dates for the bidding, advertisements, coordinate that with Jen and Dave's office, and then receive the bids, and then consideration of acceptance and awarding. So yeah, you're right, we're in the middle of September here. You're probably looking at early January, February before you could award based on permitting and the bidding process.
Okay. And then still construction, if everything went smooth, still wouldn't be till what, April, May-ish?
Begin construction, yeah, that would generally make sense.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Any discussion or information on Lake County JICA for the East Side Water Development? Okay. GMOD report?
Yeah, so, we got the true up, for this year. It was a little late, as usual, but even more late this time, in the amount of $512,000 and change. I don't have the total.
489.
We're gonna have the total in,
$512,489.
Thanks, Bob. We did instruct Jen to have that in the docket today for council to pay for that according to the agreement. Once we receive it, it did have a deadline of us to pay it by September 15th. However, we had no council meeting, so that's why we are going to vote on it during council for that pay request. As far as the meeting, I tried seeing if we could have a meeting. Next week, it was supposed to be on the 24th, however, with the impasse going on, I believe we may hold off then, as what legal said. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but kind of makes sense. So until that both Lowell and Cedar Lake Council with the attorneys can meet on that, so that's all I have for now.
Is there any public comment on the utility board? Does anyone have a public comment for utility board?
Here comes one.
If you could please state your name and address for the record.
Terry Broaders, 14513 Morris, Cedar Lake. This is not a comment, it's a question I was hoping we can ask Neil. As you talk about the south extension, I think you mentioned 155th would be the end point. Would that stay on the west side of Morris, or is that going to come back and forth? Do you guys have that projected yet?
We do. It would be, Project 1 is ending on the northeast corner of 159th and Klein Avenue. Project 2 would begin there, extend to the west, come through the back of some properties that we currently have acquired easements, continue through Creston area, and in public rights-of-way. And we'll work with the County Highway Department on that. We've already cleared that through them of our proposed project. Up to 155th. We would be on the north side of 155th and extend west to the town-owned property, slightly east, but also adjoining Parish Avenue.
So the water main will
No,
not,
this, I'm sorry, this is sanitary.
the sanitary main will not stay parallel to Morse, it'll dive in?
Yeah, it'll come back, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but probably several hundred feet to the west of Pine Avenue, and then extend north.
Are there drawings already available to the public for those routes, or not yet?
Those drawings are completed, and I would imagine those are available to the public.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Cheryl Parker, 7227 West 136th Court. I just have a question on the Morse Street Water Extension. From attending a prior town council meeting, we were informed that we have to pay $5,000 a month for every month that that water main or water line is not completed and attached to the building, because whoever built it.
The idle job site, are you talking about that?
The public safety building.
Right, yeah, for the idle job site, because they couldn't do
or
anything.
whoever was the GM, whoever was the project. Will we be able to, now that's already been August, September, we're almost done. Will we be able to get this done, maybe, I don't know, maybe you would know, would be able to get it done
As soon
by
as that
the end of October?
as soon as the pressure test and the line is filled, then the work can commence, so.
Okay.
And the $5,000 wasn't gonna kick in
We're
until
just waiting to
October.
test, we're waiting the
Oh,
pressure.
I misunderstood then, I thought it went in right away, because they finished at the end of July with all their building.
We're paying for it now? I thought that was October.
Yeah, my
Jen, do you
understanding
know
of the
that?
discussion was it
I think it
started.
was until October or something.
I don't know if they direct, I'd have to look at the pay request and see if that's itemized.
Because they were finished with the building by the end of July.
They were still mopping up on some things.
Yeah, they were still working on things.
Okay. But we'll probably get that done by October then, you think, probably?
It
Ready
should
to
be
go,
pressure,
so they
it
can
should
come
be
back
done,
and
it should
finish?
be pressure tested by the end of next, I mean, they're gonna start filling it Monday, so yes, it'll
Okay,
be
that's
ready.
good, all right.
Any other public comment? Meeting's adjourned at 7 p.m.
Perfect.
I have a
Oh, nice work.
Good job.
Okay. On the utility board?
Oh, no, no,
No, it's just on utility board, next meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll call this town council meeting for September 17th, 2024 to order. Stand and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you gonna have prayer?
Yes, Pastor Ken, or is that what
Yeah,
you're
he's
here
here.
for? Oh,
Yeah, no.
thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you.
Would you first state who you're with?
I'm Pastor Jacob from Gateway Church on the north side of the lake here.
Okay, thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for every single person here. I thank you for every single member of this council and all the voices that are about to be heard. Lord, I pray today that your grace and your peace would be upon us, and that your grace and peace would be upon Cedar Lake in its entirety. Lord, we know that you have great plans for this nation and for this beautiful town. And Lord, I just pray today that you can unify us for good, that you can unify us, and that you can bring forth voices that create such a beauty when they're heard together. And Lord, today, I give you grace and I give you glory, and in Jesus' name I pray.
Thank you, Pastor.
Excuse me, I'm out of order, but we can't hear back here. I usually sit up there, but it's just a tip now. You gotta turn it up.
Is there anything we can do to turn it up? Is there anything we can do to turn it up?
There you go.
Get it.
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera.
Here.
Chuck Becker.
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Here.
Richard Peel.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Nick Cupido is absent. I am present. Jeff Bungie.
Present.
David Austin.
Present.
Okay. Mr. Recupero isn't here tonight. I know that's disappointing for everybody, including me, but I'm what you got, so we're going to try to muddle through this. Thanks for coming out. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Corey, you want to come up and give us a school board report? All right, share ethics.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Corey. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Cheryl Corey with the Ethics Commission. Sorry I wasn't on the agenda. That was completely my fault. Thanks for squeezing me in. I have just a couple of quick things. The Shared Ethics Advisory Commission is coming to train our trainers later in October. So thanks to Jen on coordinating the room for us. I'll have more details after that training. And then also, they are having their 2024 Ethics Summit on Thursday, October 24th in Maryville. The keynote speaker is Deborah Witzberg, the Inspector General of the City of Chicago. This is a free program. It's open to anyone. They just ask that you pre-register, and you can register on their website, sharedethics.com. I do have a few flyers that I'll leave up front, but I'll email everyone on the council these details, as well as there's another ethics meeting tomorrow, and I'll give those talking points as well.
And is it at the Avalon? That's normally where they have?
Yes.
So I just wanted to...
Yeah, it's just a morning program.
Right, I've
like
gone
8
to
till
it
about before noon, so.
Thank you.
Cheryl. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this for us.
Yes, you're doing a good job.
Okay. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? The first public comment is just for agenda items. Any public comment on agenda items? Seeing none, we're moving on. Consent agenda. Claims, all town funds, $289,650.19. Wastewater operating, $693,206.90. Water utility, $30,354.98. Stormwater, $17,058.44. Payroll, August 12th, 2024 is $383,944.63. and August remittances is $298,075.03. Manual journal entries, August 1st through August 31st, 2024, donation, canine donation to include the following: Ben Tomko, $3,839 even. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Ms. Rivera. Roll call, please.
Wait a minute. I got just a statement.
Go ahead, Bob.
On the claims, I looked all over trying to find $512,489. I did find, this is for the true-up that we're paying below. I did find two different figures, one of $188,497 and one for $323,992 for a total of $512,489, which, I looked for the big figure, but I saw two different figures there.
No, but you have to remember that when it comes to that true-up calculation, it is not only operations and maintenance, it is also capital as well. So capital gets paid out of the capital fund, and operations and maintenance gets paid out of operations.
Thank you.
Good, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, or?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Beal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Ordinance and resolutions. Ordinance number 1498, amending park rules and regulations, beach, sandbox, and pier rules. Still needs a first reading. It was deferred from August 6th, 2024.
Is this,
Ask your superintendent about this. This comes out of the park department.
I'm sorry, I can't hear Dave on this side of the room.
is your switch on, Dave? Mine was off too, I seen on the front.
I think so.
Here.
Just explaining ordinance 1498, amending the park rules.
So this was a change up of an original ordinance that set on the books for pool rules. When the pool was in operation, as they found the need to change the rules pertaining to the pool area, the park board could do that just by adopting it in a meeting and posting it there. So as we discovered that we needed to clean up the rules here on the town grounds pertaining to the beach, and the use of town grounds, this was resurrected with the opportunity to change as posted. So you won't find an exhibit here because the conversations have not been had and the agreed upon rules between council and park board, but this is just changing that ordinance to state, hey, we're going to post the rules here and they are enforceable by ordinance with a penalty attached to it. So that's the understanding of the ordinance.
So there's no ordinance or no exhibit to read?
The 1498 is in there as far as the ordinance.
I would like to say, I periodically go out to the beach area, which I can't call it the beach anymore, right?
We can't.
Yes, we
Actually,
can.
we have clearance from DNR and insurance that it could be referenced as the beach.
Oh, very good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But I will make an occasional visit out there, and we've got a sign out there that it's highly recommended that you wear shoes, because boaters out there throw bottles from their boats, and we have glass that accumulates in the sand, and I don't want anybody to ever get cut out there. So I just go out there and advise them to wear shoes when they're out there in the beach.
Would that make you a beach bum, Bob?
I guess you could call me one.
Beach Bob.
Okay.
So this one's good for a read then?
Dave, does this need a reading tonight?
It does.
Okay. Rich, would you mind?
Yes. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1498, an ordinance amending town ordinance number 900, amending the rules and regulations for the Department of Parks and Recreation of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, to update rules and regulations for use of park facilities located adjacent to Cedar Lake, repeal all ordinances and town code provisions or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto.
Okay. Is this ready for action tonight?
In my opinion, yes, that's park call.
You ready?
Yes, the park board pushed it through with the resolutions in previous meetings, so we just need to have a powwow and figure out what you would like to see posted, and then we'll bring it before our meeting and get some signage out there. So.
Okay.
Now, will this need a second reading then, Dave, since we're short?
If there is unanimous consideration on initial reading tonight, yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion, Mr. President, to approve ordinance number 1498.
First reading.
First reading. Sorry.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Teal, second by Ms. Rivera. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Have something, Dave?
Second reading.
Yeah, we can do a second.
Anybody care to make a motion to suspend the rules? Do we have to suspend the rules for that, Dave?
That's what you
Suspend the
do.
rules, have a second reading tonight?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules and have second reading this evening.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Dixon, second by Ms. Rivera. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes. I suppose we should have you read it again, though.
Yep, absolutely. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1498, an ordinance amending town ordinance number 900, amending the rules and regulations for the Department of Parks and Recreation of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, to update rules and regulations for use of park facilities located adjacent to Cedar Lake, repealing all ordinances and town code provisions or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto.
Okay, we've heard the second reading of ordinance number 1498. Anybody care to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Rivera, second by Mr. Teal. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Ordinance number 1500, Cedar Lake Water, Y 2024 sprinkling usage regulation, a mandatory ordinance, requires 2 readings. Tim, are we ready to do this one tonight?
I guess I talked to a couple people about, I don't know, I mean, I guess the ordinance, once we have it once we have it ready, we can enact it at any time. I guess my only question in reading it was that it showed that either the town manager or the water superintendent could impose the ban. I didn't know if everybody was comfortable with that being a one-man decision or not.
Yeah, I didn't think it should be.
So, Dave, does this need to be tweaked?
It sounds like it. I didn't know this until now in the discussion being had.
Should we have a reading anyway? And
You can.
okay, Rich, can you read number 1500 by title only?
Yes. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1500. An ordinance amending town ordinance numbers 1385 and 1427 pertaining to establishment and implementation of rules and regulations for the municipal water utility of the town, amending certain rules and regulations for the municipal utility, repealing all ordinances and town code selections or portions thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related hereto.
Okay.
So my thoughts are, with the emails we've seen on certain days, on Mondays, prior to the scheduling of the sprinkling getting done in Beacon area, that I think just having one person alone is not a good idea. That's just my thoughts of saying, hey, we need to stop sprinkling. I have not seen, I don't know if I just skipped over an email or something like that, but I have not seen one, yesterday. Tim, do we know how those numbers are? For the, west side with the water tower, with what the reasons why we were thinking this ban had to go into place in the first?
On the 16th was Monday, correct?
Yes.
On the 16th, it did drop down to 36.4 again, so the average was 51.46, so.
And so it then still, even with, those schedules getting changed, we're still having an issue?
The week previous, it did not get down below 50, it got to like 48. So, I just, for some reason, this wasn't coming up on my thing until today, but it shows that it's, let me see here. For a very short time at about, I mean, at like 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, it dropped down to that 36 and bounced right back up, you know, but still that quick, you know.
Yeah.
Got the low again, so.
So what's everybody else's thoughts on who should make that call if need be?
Yeah, Dave's gonna need some direction if the.
Yes, on how it gets drafted up.
Potentially deferred.
Wouldn't it be logical for the town manager and the superintendent? I change one word in this ordinance if you do that. Instead of and, I say or. Or and, I say and.
And.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense to me, that way at least it's collaboration between, so we're not just doing it back and forth like it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, you know, that way.
Yes.
So, I mean, it just seems to make sense to me.
What happens, in the absence of a town manager if we don't have one?
You'll have somebody sitting in that chair with a title or a responsibility level. That's what will take the place of this.
Okay, so we can go ahead and pass this on the first reading and then ask for a modification for the next reading.
I think you guys already had a first reading on this. Tonight would be second reading.
Yeah, this is the second reading.
Oh, okay. Then we need to defer it.
Or pass that contingent on Dave swapping out one word.
Is that possible,
I mean-
Dave? That should be not a problem?
I think I can even do it this time, quickly.
Okay.
Saying.
Anybody consider a motion?
That's all, a couple words.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make the motion to approve ordinance number 1500 with Attorney Ostian making the change to and to include the water superintendent and town manager.
I'll second that.
Motion by Rich Steele, second by Chuck Becker. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera? Yes. Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Resolution number 1358. Resolution regarding payment of fees for audits of the town by the Indiana State Board of Accounts and related. Rich, can you read number 1358
Yes.
by its title only?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, Town Resolution Number 1358, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, regarding payment of fees and audits of the town by the Indiana State Board of Accounts and related.
Okay, Jennifer, do you have anything to add?
This is not me.
Not your item?
Nope.
This came about through Northwest Indiana Regional Planning that passed a resolution similar, and they've asked all cities and towns to pass one similar to theirs. And I asked Dave to prepare this, so And it's basically, we pay State Board of Accounts, they come in here and they audit us, and we have to pay for that. And they don't have any, line items that they show us for what they do. And this is to try and make them more accountable, and hopefully that they can, the state of Indiana has more money than what we do.
Government being accountable is good. Dave, does this need 2 readings?
No, single reading. It's a resolution.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 1358, resolution regarding payment of fees for audits of the town by the Indiana State Board of Accounts and related.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan, second by Ms. Dixon. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera? Yes. Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Can I ask one question real quick? I see at the bottom of it, under section 3, it says that it shall be transmitted by the town clerk treasurer to NERC. Who am I sending it to at NERC, Bob? You have more contacts than I do.
If I could just get a signed copy, I'll take it to them Thursday,
Okay.
okay? I have a meeting.
Ty Warner.
Yeah, that's, I'll give it to.
Ty Warner.
Okay, moving on to old business. Consider applications for park board.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dave Justice to the Democrat opening on the Cedar Lake Park Board.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Dixon, second by Mr. Teal. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. New business, museum at Lassen's Resort Community Heart and Soul Grant. Hi, Julie.
Julie Fasada, 9430 West 135th Place. Here from the museum to request a letter of support from the town council. We are looking at applying for a grant from the Legacy Foundation called a Community Heart and Soul Grant. This is something that needs to have cooperation between a 501c3 entity within the town and the municipality. So we would be the lead applicant. I will do all the work to apply, and then asking, like I said, for a letter of support from the town council that they will appoint someone to be a part of the core team. It's a 2-year project. So they'll appoint someone to be a part of the core team, whether it's a council person, a staffer, or someone else that you appoint, another citizen, to serve on your behalf. And then commitment to help us, we have to have a $10,000 match over the course of the 2 years in order to unlock the $80,000 that's going to be awarded as part of this grant. So again, we have 2 years to raise that, and just looking for the council's help identifying where we could secure that from. Not saying you have to make it a line item on your budget, but just having conversation with the core team on where we can secure those funds from. And then also considering all the things that are going to be contributed by the community in your future master planning efforts. So this is a process whereby it's almost like master planning, but from the grassroots up, where the citizens are gathered together. They're asked to share what they love about their community, what they have for the hopes of the future of the community, and then coming up with some ideas for the way to bring all of that into effect. So we would work, again, over the course of 2 years with a group of like 8 to 15 people on the core team, and then I'm not sure how many people we would end up interviewing, if it's going to be one-on-one or group interviews, but it could be as many as 100 people if we do one-on-ones, or even more than that if we're doing group sessions. So Legacy Foundation provides all the training. They guide us through the entire process. The core team members do have to participate in about 4 trainings, about 5.5, 6 hours over the course of the 2 years, and then have some monthly meetings where we're working to execute all of this. So, but like I said, just looking for the town council's support through a letter of support, and then we'll be sharing everything with you as we go work through these 2 years. We I think October 24th is the application deadline, and then we'll hear in November whether or not we are chosen to be the first Community Heart and Soul organization in the state of Indiana. They have about 100 of these across the nation, but this will be the first community to roll this out in our state.
And the town would need to, our buy-in would be $10,000?
No, we have, as a team, the Community Heart and Soul team needs to raise $10,000.
So we'll come to you, we'll talk to you about where we could possibly source that from, see if you have any recommendations or suggestions for us. But all the funds will be administered through the museum. Actually, those funds need to be donated to Legacy Foundation, then they end up re-granting them back to the community. So we end up getting $90,000 at the end of it. So, but, you know, expenses are going to need to be limited to things like events, advertising, staffing for executing this project, purchasing materials to promote it, things like that. No capital improvements, and I forgot what the other two were that I had
No
mentioned.
staffing, I think.
No, staffing's okay, it's no capital improvements, no overhead, and, you know, nothing like rent and utilities and stuff like that.
So the town wouldn't be obligated to budget $10,000?
Nope.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I actually attended the same seminar. I believe it was about 2 hours long over at the Lake County Public Library. It was very interesting, and I felt very confident that this is something that we should do. When we got there, we were kind of given the stickers kind of similar to what the Park Master Plan did, except we didn't have as many. We just got 3 or 4 stickers, but similar outline and stuff like that, and so I thought that was it was very interesting and worth us backing for that.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, is that a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to approve the Community Heart and Soul grant application as being the second, I believe it's on there, what they consider it?
A letter of support. A letter of support.
Letter of support, sorry.
I'll second it. Motion by Mr. Teal, second by Mr. Becker.
Question.
Go ahead.
Who's going to do the letter?
Well,
would that come
from Jeff?
Yeah.
From Jeff, probably have Kirsten.
I'm sure between Kirsten and myself, we could.
And Julie, I do believe that you shared the application. I believe it was a 4-page application, just so we were aware of what it was and how you had to fill it out. So whatever, if you want to collaborate with Kirsten and Julie on how it should look to.
We can do that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amendment 1 for 133rd Avenue reconstruction structural design, increasing the total estimated fee for this project to $145,150. Tim, can you comment on this?
Do you want me to do this, or you want to do it, or? Yeah, this was just because of the soil is bad underneath the middle of the road, so they need to do some filings and some additional work, so.
A lot of peat in there, I imagine.
So
Very, very boggy.
Yeah.
Just a cover, they did the soil borings and came up with bad ground, so there has to be some additional work done, obviously, to do the project.
And this is the
Before it
dip,
starts.
this is the dip by Lemon Lake
Correct.
Park in Robin's Nest.
Correct.
Where it always floods.
Right. It's going to be raised up 2 feet.
Stay there.
Is there a motion for this item?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Becker to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carnahan.
Can I ask a question?
Any questions or comments?
Where's the money coming from this?
So the original contract that was approved last year, it was stated that CEDAT, the Economic Development Income Tax monies that the town receives would pay for the design. So the additional for design is only $13,500.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Item number 3, requisition number 17, disbursement of funds for 22A construction fund in the amount of $322,400.56. Mr. Bungie. This is for the public safety building, I assume.
It is, 22A is for the fire department building.
No, this one is for the police
Oh,
department.
this is, I'm sorry, I got it backwards, okay.
Okay. We owe them the money, we need to disperse it, correct? Yep. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Whoever.
Motion by Mr. Becker, second by Mr. Carnahan. How about that?
All right.
Fine.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker? Oh, excuse
Yes.
me, Greg Parker.
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Requisition number 16, disbursement of funds from the 22B construction fund in the amount of $119,806.19.
This is for the fire department.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Teal. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Becker. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Item number 5, change order number 3, request from Dredge America, Inc. from $5,971,844.20 to $4,338,026.09. Those are big numbers.
It looks like a savings, so I'll make a motion, accept that.
You like that one, huh?
I'll second that.
I like that one.
Motion by Ms. Dixon, second by Mr. Teal. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Item number 6, approve C-Bell pay request, Stage 2 Cedar Lake Dredging, final pay request number 10, in the amount of $249,750.
Jen, you've got money?
If I could, please, just give a brief explanation. So the Fund 807, which is the Ecosystem Non-Reverting Fund, does not have enough remaining funds in it to pay the total of this final pay request. So as I previously recommended to you all, I'd like to use remaining ARPA monies that we have on hand still to pay the balance, which is approximately $60,132.01. So what we need to do is we need to amend the spending plan that the town council originally approved, but Mr. Facenda was out of the country when I reached out to him, so he's now back. He's working with Mr. Meeks in his office, and we actually have a phone call scheduled for Thursday. That way I can explain to them a little better of the amendment that needs to be made to the resolution that the council has on file for the spending plan. So that will be forthcoming, but in the meantime, just if we could make a part of the record that this final pay request will be paid from Fund 807 in the amount of $189,617.99, and then from Fund 176, the American Rescue Plan Local Fiscal Recovery Fund monies of $60,132.01.
Okay,
Any questions?
I think that covers it.
I'd like to make that in the form of a motion.
I'll make a
Sorry,
motion,
I'm sorry, I
yeah.
forgot.
I'd like to make a motion to approve pay request number 10, final, to Dredge America in the amount of $249,750 with $189,617.99 payable from Fund 807, Ecosystem Non-Reverting Fund, and $60,132.01 from Fund 176, American Rescue Plan Local Fiscal Recovery Funds.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Teal, second by Ms. Dixon. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
And just a comment on that, out of the 20% of the lake that was being dredged, we dredged 69.2% of the 20% that was dredged, which I think was a pretty good amount for having pulled $2.1 million out of the dredging project and put it back into the sewer funds, so we can pay our bills.
I would agree. Okay, moving on to reports. Town council reports?
I had something real quick. Tim, do we know if, the mechanic position, did he get all of his stuff figured out yet, if he's gonna start on the 23rd?
I believe.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He was in office yesterday doing his onboarding.
Okay, so do we think that timeline that it's gonna work?
The original timeline will work, we'll get him started that day.
Okay.
The 23rd?
Yes.
Of this month?
Yes. Next Monday.
And the chairs are in, if anybody hasn't noticed, nobody's squeaking today.
And I can see all my old lady
Pretty stoked
boys.
about that.
That's all I had.
Any other town council reports?
I would just say that, today is Constitutional Day, and this is Constitutional Week from September 17th through the 23rd. We used to do a little ceremony, but we haven't done that in a number of years ago, but, this is Constitution Day and Constitution Week. So just like to, and it's, Kirsten, posted it on our, town website.
Thanks, Bob. Any other town council reports? Okay, town attorney?
No report.
Clerk treasurer?
Just to let you all know that I have timely filed both the Economic Development Report as well as the Family and Social Services Administration Annual Opioid Settlement Report that we have to do annually. I am still working with Corby on some minor updates to some line items within the 2025 budget, making sure PERF was rounded correctly, FICA, those sort of things. We will submit the Form 3 timely so that the public hearing can occur at your next meeting. And I've also received some updated information on the spending plan that is required by redevelopment commissions, so I am working on a draft of that, and I'm hoping to have something by the next redevelopment commission meeting.
Nick said Corby might be working on, I believe it was Corby, might be working on, what the tax rate would increase for the fire truck and the ambulance. Do you know if
Yes, I believe, Mr. Thompson did send out an email to you all.
Okay. Do you know what that was by any chance?
I don't have the numbers off the top of my head.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Town manager?
I have nothing at this time, sir.
Director of Ops?
I just have, I gave you guys all the foundation location report for the Fleming property on Houston Street. Last meeting, there were some pretty good accusations against me for letting people build their house wrong and not monitoring what was going on, right down to I let them build the overhang crooked on the house that didn't meet the line. Went over there, asked the man to show me where the overhang was. He said he was mistaken. These two papers that I show you were foundation location report and also an as-built survey that the builder had done when the house was built in 2016. So we didn't require them as a town requirement at that point. We didn't require as-built, but they did have them done and had them in their folder. So, I mean, this shows what I seen then. So I just wanted that on the record since they mentioned my name 13 times during their thing that said that I did wrong, and I just wanted to show this that, this is what I found to back up what I did, so just wanted that on the record.
Nice to have facts when you're working on something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure is.
It was definitely a good thing to have, so just wanted that to put it out there, so thank you.
Thank you. Police Department.
Rather than read our statistical reports, I'll read those in the Board of Safety meeting next week. Just an update that we do still have an officer out injured from his crash on 41 where his rear ended. The repairs of that vehicle have not been approved, but they're up probably over 20,000 now for that vehicle.
I saw it, it's a three-wheeler now.
Yeah, it's definitely a three-wheeler, so, but, so anyway, he's out, still injured, and, we don't know how long that will be. His injuries ended up being a little worse than we initially thought, kind of lingering on, so.
We certainly wish him a speedy recovery, and, wish him the best. Hope he gets better quickly.
And I just wanted to mention too, that I'm sure most people in this room know that the Newton County Sheriff Deputy, Brandon Shriver, did pass from his, fatal, shooting that occurred.
I got it on good authority, they're working on some kind of a benefit for him, for his family now.
There are benefits out there already, several links, and this might be a good time too to mention that with that comes a lot of scams. So for the public out there, there's no GoFundMe benefits for him. His family did not want to do GoFundMe, so they're doing private benefits that should go directly to a bank that is set up where they have an account. So just be careful if you do plan on making any donations. Just confirm that they're for real and that they're going to go directly to this family. The services are this coming Thursday and Friday.
He was a graduate of Hanover, one of our hometown guys.
Yeah, so he was a graduate of Hanover and a resident of Cedar Lake. So down the road, at some point, maybe we'll do something here in Cedar Lake. But of course, right now, the family is dealing with the up-and-coming services. So Friday will be the funeral. It's at the fairgrounds in Newton County. I took a personal day, I'll be attending, and some other officers will be attending from the department. And I'm sure there will be thousands of police officers and thousands of people attending. So that'll be Friday. And maybe we can have a moment of silence for Brandon and his family.
Do you want to do that tonight?
Yeah.
Right now.
That'd be nice. Okay, let's do that. We're going to have a moment of silence for Brandon Shriver and his family, Officer Brandon Shriver. Thank you, folks. Tough job police officers have to do to put themselves in harm's way.
I think he's only 32 years old.
2 children.
Our thoughts and prayers are with that family. Thanks.
That's all I have.
Mr. President, if I could add something. When I was at the Community Heart and Soul, I had the pleasure of speaking with Jeanne Weiss with Coaction, and she wanted to tell me to speak with the police department as far as she had a praise for the police department, that whenever she does come to South County, as far as when she has a child welfare case, that Cedar Lake officers, every one of them she deals with is top-notch and has nothing but good stuff to say. So she wanted me to relay that to you guys. So if you could please share that with them.
Fire Department?
I have a few things. I would like to ask Jen, we're going to see the draft of the salary ordinance and the updated
Bless you. Bless you.
salary ordinance and the new budget before it gets approved.
Yeah,
Can we
so
get a draft copy of that, please?
Yeah, so we
Okay.
were working through that with council and making sure they had no final remarks for us, and then we do, just like we did last year, we'd schedule that final meeting with department heads to go line by line through the Form 1s with department heads, so they're aware.
Okay, we already did that, so are we doing that again? Another,
We haven't gone through the Form 1s.
oh, not the Form 1, I'm sorry, we did that first meeting, so then there's gonna be an additional meeting.
But yeah, just making sure that council had no changes.
How soon do you think that would be scheduled?
I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, we're just finishing up our stuff, so I'll connect with Corby, when I'm back in the office on Thursday and make sure that we can get that scheduled before the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. That would include the salary ordinance as well, right?
No, the salary ordinance doesn't happen until after the
Okay.
budget adoption.
Well, we can get a copy of it prior, the department heads can, before approval for a draft?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be in the packets like it always is.
Well, we don't get a copy of that before the council approves it, so I was just wondering if we could see it beforehand.
You don't get the agenda packets before the meeting?
Yeah, the night of the meeting, yeah, right before, yeah. But
Okay.
I'm just saying, when the draft is done, can we see it in advance?
I mean,
No.
yeah, it'll be based off of whatever the adopted budget is, so
Okay.
just put in a different format for their approval.
And if we don't pass the budget at our October meeting, then we gotta revert back to the old budget.
You'll be dealing with 2024 numbers. You will not be able to make any increases or make any changes to the budget if you miss the GLGS deadline.
The ambulance status for the fire department, we're back to, we are still down to one ambulance currently. Hopefully we'll have, more than likely, we'll have one of them back tomorrow and probably the third one on Friday, back in service. We did contact fire service to see if they would loan us one. He did say there was, he got back to me today, Pete LaFuchsia, the sales rep for the fire service, that there would be an ambulance available at a cost of $150 a day if we needed it. If we could avoid it and get through tomorrow and see if we can get it back, then we wouldn't have to. But if we don't get it back by tomorrow, I would say the board needs to move forward with renting an ambulance as soon as possible.
Could we take action, or do we need to take action on renting an ambulance, or can we just?
No, if, money's in the budget, and it's a category that money can be spent on, he can rent the, bus, or, the ambulance.
I mean, what's it cost to rent an ambulance?
$150 a day.
$150 a day.
Like an expense.
I mean, it's possible council might have to do it out of their budget versus fire. I'd have to go over fire's budget to see if it'd be doable out of that budget, but
That's the ambulance that the PCM is, I mean, I've gotten PCMs bad out of the box multiple occasions. It's not, I mean, it's unlikely, or it's likely that they could get another one and need that ambulance. Do we need to take action on renting an ambulance, or is that something we can just?
Everything's better in open. You could authorize it be done by a motion, second and a vote.
We still have money left over in the council budget, don't we?
that's what I was just saying. If the fire department budget cannot, you know, depending on how long you have to rent it for, if it can't, then.
We're anticipating by the end of the week getting them both back, but we've anticipated this before. And
If you get another bad part, though, you don't, I mean, there's no guarantees. I would like to see them have the ability to rent one if they need one without.
Yeah, I don't think that we need to do the motion, like Dave said, if the money's there, even if it's gotta come out of the council budget, if it's a matter of, you know, if they didn't get it back in the time.
Let me add the caveat that it is possible that you all might have to give me the authority to make a transfer within your budget as well, to make sure it's coming out of the proper line item.
That you need action on.
Yes.
Okay.
Plus will be a certificate of
We'd have
insurance
to,
from the town.
we'd have to do a resolution to make the transfer.
And that's all on an unknown.
I'll pay the $150 out of my pocket, so you don't have to do that.
Well, that'd be all on an unknown on whether it's gonna be back or not, you know, or we.
You take action on it, you throw those two things together, and then if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. If not, then it doesn't. But
I got a motion.
We gotta make a motion to amend the agenda first, I think. Yep.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to amend the agenda to consider renting an ambulance. Is there, any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Beal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. You got a motion?
Yes, I do. In order to pay the rent for a ambulance, I'd say go to the fire department budget first. If it's not there, then go to the town council budget and also create a resolution. So if any transfers are necessary, the clerk treasurer can make those.
And I imagine we'll know within the next week, so then it'd be on your next agenda.
Next, be great.
Okay, I'll second that.
We have a motion by Ms. Dixon and a second by Mr. Teal.
Got a question from Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Do you put an expiration date on that? You say it's good for a 2-week period, 30-day period?
I'd say whenever we get,
It would be part of the, it'd have to be part of the motion.
Well, if it runs out in 2 weeks, then what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's an insurance policy moving forward.
Yeah.
Just a question.
And then Todd asked the question about insurance.
Needs a certificate of insurance.
We can get that.
All we gotta do is provide
Yeah.
a certificate of insurance to fire service, that's all. I just wanna make sure I didn't.
Oh, and Bob, to answer your question, in 2 weeks, if we're still in this situation, we can revisit it at our next meeting.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff, oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. I
That
thought-
was just my
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Beal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
We also have had some other apparatus that's been getting repaired. We've had our primary engine in and out of service, which is back in service, but there'll be some more work done to the township engine that's going to be coming up, so that'll be out of service for a little while as well. Since the last meeting and a discussion about hiring people, there's been some dialogue in reference to doing that, and as of today, we have 9 people that have had some sort of desire to be part of the fire department, and either volunteer, part-time, and or full-time. We've had 3 paramedics apply here I'm sorry, 2 paramedics apply within just this last week. And there's going to be an agility test set up on the 25th at the St. John Training Center for any firefighter that would like to be full-time in the department. So that would be, we will be testing 2 EMTs and a paramedic student and 2 paramedics that day. We also do have some people that would like to start working part-time immediately, and that would also help us with our schedule. And we have a couple of volunteers, which we can get into the academy after the first of the year for that as well. I know it was a discussion at the last meeting, so I wanted to give you all the...
It was a discussion. Can I hold you up right there and let you resume in just a minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we get to a point where we could do something with that, or are we still kind of hanging out there? You and I talked about...
And that was pretty vague, Greg. What do we specifically?
Well, I think the discussion you and I had is that the council approves the hires and then it backs up to the interview and the test, and we could take some action tonight potentially if we did it in that manner.
The law is that you're the hiring authority and you're the budgetary control.
Okay.
So the process of bringing on and hiring firefighters, if you will, EMTs, goes on. You will be the decider on recommendation from the Board of Safety after the chief and the team processing folks. But I think you were talking, my recollection is you were talking more about an expedited process.
Correct.
The exigent circumstances.
Yes.
Of manpower and budget control issues that we've experienced. And you may do that. You may create an expedited or emergency process, don't skip anything, just expedite it.
Yeah, not interested in skipping anything, but not interested in holding it up anymore either.
Yeah, I understand, and that was kind of the context we had that discussion, so that there was a path or a way of getting from here to there.
So you're talking about full-time people?
I
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
actually.
Well, the full-time, it was my understanding it was still 2.
Yes. But we're testing 5 people that want full-time, so we can create a list. And then those, and 3 of those will work for us part-time as well. So, and then what my suggestion was, if, once they go through the Board of Safety process, the full-time, if we've done this in the past, if we can, if you approve them, we can, while they're going through perf, we can work them part-time to help us with our schedule. And we've done that before.
But they can't exceed the 40 hours, correct?
Oh, no, they
Will
will.
they become full-time?
What about the part-time, I'm saying?
Yeah, we have part-time people exceeding 40 hours now, getting overtime.
But
They could help us alleviate that pressure while we're waiting for them to get through the perf process.
And how long does the perf process take, just estimation?
Couple months.
Couple months?
No,
It doesn't
last
take that
couple,
long.
yeah,
The
last
last
couple
couple
times,
of
what, 3 or 4 weeks, Jen?
Yeah,
After the
and
testing is
really,
done?
Well, then
with the
it's
last
picked up.
full-timer we had, it was at their request, so
Okay.
kind of pushed.
Right, thank you.
I think the whole goal, Todd, was that if we can get the 2 full-time on as soon as possible, and then the additional part-time would help alleviate the overtime, providing we could really focus on the scheduling so that we're not even going more backwards, if I would say. That, it would alleviate the overtime of full-time and stuff like that by having more of the part-time.
What has slowed the process down in the past, and we've talked about this a million times, is having the Board of Safety have to interview part-time people and volunteers. Nowhere is that done. Part-time people are hired by the fire department, or the fire chiefs through that process, if they come credentialed from another department. That's what we're talking about. So if you are a firefighter, paramedic from Cross Point, you apply in Cedar Lake, we go through the interview process in-house, and then we can get them in, get them on the job.
So you're only talking about part-time that are full-time somewhere else? That's all you're talking about?
That are credentialed firefighter EMTs
Right.
from some other place, yes.
Okay.
Or, yeah, they're EMTs or paramedics only.
And then if they choose to become full-time, if they were to change and come to us, then they would be interviewed then at?
Then they have to go through the whole process.
Yeah, but then also we'd have to be hiring for full-time.
Right, at that time,
So, yeah.
we'd be, advertising.
I want to just make, Dave, I'm sorry, but because I'm not as articulate as you with the law, you and I had a discussion about how we get some
I think
action
that's
taken.
complex.
What's the avenue, because I think, if I understood you right.
No, I got a recommendation for you.
There's a statutory process.
There is, and it does not include, notwithstanding what happens anywhere else, it doesn't include that the fire chief has authority to hire.
Part-time, we're talking part-time.
It doesn't say part-time or full-time or volunteer in the code.
Okay, so that means.
That's why it ends up here.
Okay.
And that's why the conduit exists. The expediting of the process is what you and I talked about in a manner of speaking, Ray. And my recommendation is that, given the circumstances, that the council consider expediting the process and giving full blessing authority to the interview process to take place, and that advance approval of a candidate deemed appropriate, deemed the primary or the priority, the candidate of choice, be processed. So you don't avoid the statute, you're not yielding your authority to the chief, who doesn't have that authority under the law, and you're still getting the job done.
Okay, so can I ask questions then? Are we talking about full-time or part-time?
All of it.
All of it.
The statute.
I've read the statute, and it's not specific on, it's only specific on full-time.
It doesn't say full-time or part-time.
Okay,
It says
so
hire.
other fire departments allow the fire chief to do that, so why is that?
Todd,
including Cherville.
what I'm,
Some point does it, that means you do it and jump into the pool?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, I
well,
would,
there you go.
because everybody else is doing it, so legally, it's gotta be legal, right?
what I'm leading up to is, and if somebody cares to make a motion tonight, because I certainly can't, what I'm leading up to is I need to give council approval, and then back up to the interview process with the safety board to meet the statute. And we could do that tonight if we did it like that.
You can, and that's my recommendation.
But the Board of Safety now is back in the interviewing the part-time people then.
You can
And here's-
direct the Board of Safety to expedite the process.
Yeah,
We are going to go backwards again, because now people are gonna have to go through an interview process. Credentialed people from other departments will go through an interview process with the Board of Safety, is that what you're saying?
I just want to get it right legally, Todd. Carl's here. I don't want to break the law and get locked up, you know?
I don't believe that that's correct. I think that every other department that does it that way. You can go to St. John right now and the chief can hire you as a part-time only, just part-time, as long as you're credentialed and volunteers.
Well, here's what we're trying to do. We're
So
trying
can sheriff.
We're trying to get you what you need. We're trying to get the action done tonight, and we're also trying to meet the letter of the law, if we can get a motion made. And would the motion need to include directing the Board of Safety to get these interviews done?
In my opinion, yes.
There you go. But this has been the holdup in the past, is getting the Board of Safety to actually do it. And the issue comes back to this. We may be able to do that this particular time, but then we fall back to what we've done in the past, and now we're waiting again to hire full-time people.
I hope that it doesn't get to that, but this is kind of I don't want to...
I thought we agreed in the one meeting that they're credentialed in other
We
departments.
did agree, but it doesn't meet the statute is the
Yeah, we gotta
problem.
follow legal's advice. I would suggest that we follow.
So...
For part-time.
But can't the council give authority to that? Dave, if the council approves to allow the chiefs of the department to hire part-time people, would that be...
Todd, you're suggesting that they circumvent the statute?
Right, yeah.
What about like for emergency hire for part-time?
Todd, I know 36891.
I've read it many times.
I bet you have.
Many
So have I, but the point is, they are the authority.
I understand, but
They're the
they...
ones that it says it, specifies it, 2 sentences, identify it, that's what it says.
Chief Wilkening,
Yes,
just in
sir.
an effort to conduct an experiment here,
I'm done.
let's see if we can get something done, and see if we get you what you need, and then we can identify problems in the process, if we can just see if we can
Thank you.
get this moving.
Will do.
I mean, he can still go and have them go through the agility test, right? Is this what, or does that all have to happen?
No, those people are applying for full-time as well.
Right, and
So they
you
should go
still
through
are
the
gonna do the
agility
agility test in St. John?
Yes.
That's right.
We have 5 for that test. Just follow our lead, it's not that hard. We've done this a million times. If you follow the fire department's lead.
I'm gonna keep my comment to myself
Well,
on that right now.
we weren't the ones that tangled this thing up.
Yeah.
I got a couple other things under my report for this.
Let's get this resolved first, please.
Okay, sorry.
I'll let you continue, I promise.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion under the advisement of our attorney to expedite this by having the steps taken.
We have to amend the...
I'm sorry. Okay, you're right, we do. I make a motion to amend the agenda first.
I'll second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to amend the agenda to consider fire department personnel items. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Field?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Okay. If I need some help, help me out here. I make a motion that we take the advice of our attorney handling the personnel, the emergency personnel matters for the fire department at this time.
Does that work? Does it need tweaked?
What do you want me to add?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay.
If there are questions, Todd and I will talk,
Okay.
for sure.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Dixon, second by Ms. Rivera. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Fields?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next thing on the agenda is we received a donation today of $1,100 from a lady that was very appreciative of our EMS people, earmarked it towards EMS, and it was processed through the clerk's treasurer's office.
Nice.
Very good.
Do we have to make a motion to accept?
It'll be on your next consent agenda.
It'll be on the next, okay, thank you.
Our medics, she said that she had a little note with us that they did a really nice job. They were very compassionate and just walked in and dropped off a check. We don't see that ever, but that happened.
Good stuff.
It's kind of good stuff. But we would like to earmark that towards EMS equipment like that's the possibility.
When Sandy dropped it off yesterday, I confirmed with her that it was supposed to go in your Fund 114, which is that non-reverting fund you all had created a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So that's where it'll sit until you use it.
Thank you.
Anything else, Chief?
Yeah. One more. Our whole fire truck. I had a discussion with Councilman Parker about maybe doing something with that truck. It was mentioned that we should sell it. Still don't think we should sell it. I think we should keep it as a historical truck. There's a bunch of firemen in the room right now that would love to see that truck stay within our department. Greg mentioned maybe the Historical Society would like to take it over. And I thought that was a great idea because it's going to be part of our history.
Just a suggestion, I don't hate the idea, but I just...
Yeah, I mean, if we could do that, that would be great. If the Historical Society wants to take care of the truck, obviously, I know she left us like when she walked out the door, but I'd like to possibly offer it to her. And we could still keep it in the fire station. We have places for it. We wouldn't use it for calls. I don't think it would cost hardly anything to insure a truck that's totally out of service. But to preserve some of the history of the department, I think it'd be nice for us to keep it. And the Historical Society could use it for events or whatever else they'd like to do. So that's my recommendation on the old truck. The last thing is our fire calls and calls that have skyrocketed with the last few months. I don't have the totals in front of me because I haven't done it tonight, but just to let you know, our people are absolutely running ragged. And with the help of this hiring process, this is going to help us tremendously. We get these people on board, get a good handful of them on board in the next few weeks, at least part-time to work for us. We do have a couple volunteers that are ready to go into the academy in January. And that'll also help us, but I would like to see us come up with a final streamlining process in the future, just because there is so many departments that are hiring and so many departments that are losing people that it literally is becoming a crisis for pretty much everybody. It's not just Cedar Lake, it's out there across the board. Everybody needs paramedic firefighters, so.
It's all over the United States.
It's all over the United States, definitely, Bob. Thank you, that's all I have.
Parks Department.
Hi, I have nothing to report at this time.
I just wanted to mention, I don't know if anyone responded to the email about meeting one more time with there's a liaison. If no one's available next week, or if, Mary Jo, if you're not available after the next park meeting.
Yeah, I responded.
Oh, okay, did you
See if
say
you
you're
got something scheduled.
Yeah.
It was creating that exec session
Right,
between council and park board. The last date on the table was up for grabs, which was October 3rd, after the park board meeting at 6:30. The park board has confirmed that they are available to meet with council at that time, and we're just looking for your availability to do so.
Yeah, and I responded, I can't attend at that time because I attend a chamber meeting right afterwards.
And I do too.
Does anyone else want to meet with me and the park board? Or anyone else available?
When are you proposing that?
Right after the park board.
Thursday,
regular
October
meeting.
3rd at 6:30 PM.
I'm out of town, or I would.
Can we maybe toss out a couple more days?
Maybe Nick?
Nick's out of
No,
town.
he'll be out of town still.
Yeah. Yeah, could we check some more dates possibly?
I'll ask Kirsten to go back to the drawing board and continue communication
Thank
to
you.
try to schedule for you.
And maybe we could just like narrow it down, and I know, I think I sent you guys their maintenance report.
Yes, I see
Pretty
that.
lengthy, so that just gives us more talking points about hiring some part-time maintenance people.
Further into October, I could do it.
Next week, I'm available next week.
There are some items that would be beneficial to discuss in exec session as soon as possible to budget for end-of-year expenses and stuff. I don't want to pressure you to try to make a meeting, but there are some things that would be beneficial to meet on and make decisions on here real soon. So those are...
If you can ease it into the second week of October, I can get involved with you.
We'll go back to the drawing board on dates and try to get you guys together.
Okay.
I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Written communications?
Building department.
You got the department, Tim, or I didn't really get a chance to look at this yet.
We have 115 total.
Building department total permits issued in the month of August were 131.
New construction's 115, right?
And I'm scrolling. That's year to date. Okay, August, residential permits, 107. Only one commercial permit, one church permit, one open space, for a total of 113 for the month of August.
That's a total.
Yeah, I guess that would be total.
Okay. Does anybody have the Christopher Bird report?
Yes, it's included.
It's the very last
That's
item.
included.
Your last number 14.
Okay, I see it.
Since we're kind of getting down to the end of the construction season, there's not a whole lot to really address. The one thing that I did make a note of is that under the Cedar Lake dredge, which we brought up earlier, the change order number 3 that actually decreased the size of the contract value. But Seabell and the Town Public Works Department have been coordinating and with the inspections of the dewatering facility. The SDF is currently at approximately 4 feet of depth, and it still continues to be slowly drawn down with the watering process continuing. There was some talk, and Seabell did provide an estimate to town staff to fence in the remaining portion of the SDF site along the east side of the property. And that was a plus or minus designation of about 3,260 feet. And they recommended a 6-foot chain link fence to make that property secure. Cost estimates were given at approximately anywhere between $73,000 and $114,000 to fence that in. The other thing I thought was noteworthy, under NERC, Section 3,
Steve Bell attended a emergency training technical planning committee meeting on September 10th to discuss the upcoming notice of funding availability, also known as a NOFA, that commenced on September 10th. The NOFA is for the 2026 through 30 TIP, and will have approximately $108 million for infrastructure and transit projects. The two projects that were added into the mix for Cedar Lake was just south of here off of Morris, 141st Avenue, going over Cedar Creek. Talk about widening and replacement and improving that under the protect portion of the NOFA. And the other item was Pickerel Creek culvert replacement on 147th Avenue, which we're trying to also wrangle into that protect plan. Okay. And just about everything else is pretty much no report or still in process waiting for.
Thank you. Update discussion items. If anybody has any questions or comments on that.
What's the process? Progress.
Update discussion items, bond, fire truck, ambulance, street sweeper, and payloader.
I know that would relate to the email that we received from Corby, but I know Nick and I spoke a little bit about it today, and I think there was a little clarity issues as far as what was actually asked and what we received. From my discussion with Nick today, I think it was for the $5 million, I believe, what we were originally talking about, or $5.5 million. And I think the question that Nick actually directed was, what is the amount that we could bond for those pieces of equipment without increasing tax?
Oh.
So,
what's the tax rate?
and that's not, you know, and that's why I discussed, I believe earlier.
I know he was working on it.
Yeah, and he was, but if the fire truck is $1,018,000, ambulance, call it $400,000, street sweeper, payloader, I mean, it's not even close to the $5 million. So I don't know if Corby completely understood what Nick was asking, but that was the discussion I had with Nick this afternoon.
Okay. Well, we'll have to follow up with him on that. We already handled the fire department personnel matters best we could. Okay. Anybody have anything else before I move to public comment?
I got a question about the guardrail. Tim, have you heard anything more about the guardrail, where the money's gonna come from, the two guardrails by the condos and over there by across the Smith Ready Mix?
So Smith Ready Mix, if I remember Kubiak's conversation, that was a minimal cost that he might be able to cover out of this year's budget, but the two of them together, there's not enough left in this year's remaining budget.
Even if we go to the general?
Well, you've never had a capital outlay line item, so then we'd be looking at a transfer resolution. We'd have to go through council's line items to look and see what could be moved.
That's $17,000 to put that guardrail there by the condos, right?
Correct. What about the US DOT Safe Streets and Roads for All? I mean, could you get something from that, you know?
Probably not in a timely manner.
Yeah, probably not in this,
I mean,
not in this
to me,
year.
that sounds like a grant application process that probably has specific guidelines, not something that you can just call them up and say, hey, I need 17 grand.
I'd like to look into trying to see if we can get it out of the general fund.
I will review council's budget and see if we can make something happen.
All right.
Thanks. Anybody have anything else? Okay, we're moving on to public comment. Please state your name and address for the record.
Carrie Cox.
Come up to the podium, please.
I'd like to thank you for allowing me to address the board. My name is Terry Cox. I live at 8505 West 139th Avenue in Cedar Lake in the Lakeshore subdivision. Outlet C, which is the shoreline that Monon Railway donated to the Lakeshore Subdivision Association, when the railroad closed the rail line in Cedar Lake. It has been presented to the homeowners by the HOA to sell 5,673 square feet to 5 of the Lakeview homeowners on Hoosman Street, or however you say it. I have a few questions that I would like to ask the board. One, can the land be sold without it being subdivided?
Mr. Austin?
Yes,
In one piece, correct?
correct.
So it could be sold in one piece without a subdivision.
Okay, but they want to sell it to 5 different homeowners, so wouldn't they have to divide it for each of the homeowners?
They would.
Can you tell us what that process would be to subdivide that?
Our ordinance is 498. It is the subdivision control ordinance. It provides for the division of land and replatting of same. Public hearing, a notice would be provided. Public hearing would be held before our plan commission, and the plan commission would make a decision about the plat requested to be amended, replatted, or redivided, however it's presented.
So how would we know if that has been presented?
An adjacent owner within, 300 feet, Jeff?
Okay, I was not aware.
Adjacent owners get notice, and there's a newspaper publication of notice, and that's how you would get your legal notice.
Okay. So some of the homeowners have hired attorney Nathan Viss to represent the homeowners regarding the vote to sell on September the 8th of 2024. I would like the board's permission to read the letter from the attorney that was sent to the HOA.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So on September 13th, 2024, the letter was sent by certified mail, U.S. mail. It was also emailed to the President, Michael Dolder, and to all the board members. So basically it says, to who it may concern, please be advised that the undersigned represents interested homeowners located within the Lakeshore Subdivision Association, Inc. I'm respectfully requesting that you cease and desist from any and all efforts to sell the 5 lakefront parcels outlined within your meeting held on September the 8th of 2024. As you are aware, Article 10 of your covenant dictates that no real estate be sold, leased, or rented without receiving the affirmative vote of the members of the association at a special meeting or a general meeting, providing that a majority of the qualified members be present at said meeting. As you're aware, 27 members voted no, and it was presented to you at the start of the meeting that 20 persons who had previously issued proxies vote to the association under false pretenses recanted and withdrew said proxies prior to the vote occurring. Thus, based on this information, the alleged affirmative vote could not have happened. In addition to the above, it appears that notice was insufficient and it was not remitted to all the members of the association. As well, the use of ballots prior to the meeting date was also contrary to the bylaws, and attendance at the meeting was required, either in person or via proxy, see Indiana state law and same. Thus, you are hereby requested to cease and desist from any and all efforts to sell said properties. Please have your legal counsel contact the undersigned on or within 2 business days in receipt of this communication.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Ms. Cox, on that particular item, a subdivision is definitely required and would need to be approved by the town of Cedar Lake before that can be subdivided.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Nobody wants to say anything?
Anybody online?
You're good, sure.
Totally outside of everything everybody's been talking about tonight. I'm curious.
Oh,
Barbara
I mean,
Williams,
yeah.
9602 West 135th Place. What's the deal with the golf carts? They're going, and I'm not trying to complain, but I'm walking the dogs, I'm always walking the dogs up and down the sidewalks along Parish. And they're on the sidewalks on Parish. Like, you gotta get off the sidewalk to let the golf carts through.
And we
And
caught one.
I know I talked to you at one
It's illegal.
point, and you said they didn't do the 20 mile an hour
Correct.
because of the golf carts, and then I think you said they changed that, the state did?
No, the town, it's 25 miles an hour, right, Dave?
It is 25 miles.
So parish will
That
not
they
be
can
able
be
to.
on.
Is it designated 25 miles?
Right.
Or any?
Oh, designated.
Designated 25-mile-an-hour streets, they cannot be on the sidewalks. We caught one, they were sternly warned, they were taking their child to school, chain low.
Yeah, witnessed that a few times.
But that's what happens when you give people an inch, they take a mile. We gave them an inch by adopting this ordinance, and now they take a mile.
I'm not gonna add to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, the fact of the matter is it's illegal, so
Yeah.
it's on the record.
I yell at them.
D Street, Trump, stop it, Trump, stop it.
Okay, Trump isn't smart enough.
Is there any other public comment?
Dean Wilfring, 15011 Euclid Street. Just kind of follow up what we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. Greg, has there been any conversation with Southcom or anything?
Well, I think there has. I think Dave is gonna coordinate a meeting with the town council and Southcom at some point. We haven't gotten, I don't think we've got a schedule on that yet.
So there has been some inner dialogue, and it's not a dead issue then?
Well, no, it's not gonna be a dead issue.
Okay.
But while you're here, I would like for Dave to explain if you could, Dave, what our commitment is to Cherville on that PSAP.
It's contractual. We are a joint interlocal cooperation party to a contract. It's backed by full consideration. In the beginning, Cherville covered everything, and they allowed Cedar Lake to repay and catch up on a payment, annual payment when the budget type disbursement occurred. And I think it's trued up now over the years, finally.
So basically, we're just paying rent
Um,
and we're just paying an absorbent amount of money where we can go somewhere else and get a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one way of approaching it, I guess, but, there's a lot of commitment to the process, the infrastructure, the capital costs that have been incurred. That's gotta be taken into account. People, legislators committed to making it work at that time, in that place, and with those legislators, so.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure that this is not a dead issue, and, I'm not going to be brushed off on this because I'm going to keep up at it.
I don't know, dead or alive issue, it exists, you brought it to us for sure.
Thank you,
And
that's what I want to do.
it's in the vision.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none?